Alright, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to give you my 3 favourite Azami setups to play in Rainbow Six Siege. So the maps that I'm going to go through today is going to be Chalet, Oregon, and Cafe Dostoevsky. And I'm going to show you one of my favourite strats for each of them. I've done this before where I went through 3 mute strategies. So if you enjoyed this video and want to watch that one, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can watch that as well. But let's get straight on it. So for the Chalet top floor defense, I like to do a bit of a library hold, which is kind of like the default with Azami. But she's really strong in this position, and I'm going to show you the Azami setup that I use to actually play this position. So the first thing you want to do is you want to reinforce this wall here. Once you've reinforced the wall, you want to make some holes next to it with the deagle. This is so that you can have the pixel onto the library double window. From this position, there's so many different angles you can hold. You can hold the library double window, you can hold the single jump in, you can swing around here and hold the K9 jump in. But it also means there's so many angles that you're exposed from. So the first Azami that I like to put is on this like chimney here. This will protect you from K9 window when you try and swing the library double window, because as you can see, if I swing out here, if that Azami barrier is not there, then I'm going to be visible to the K9 double window, and people like to sit on that window. So it protects you in the back while also meaning that you can peek around it as well. If nobody's on the library side, you can kind of swing around and take fights there. For the next one, what I like to put is on the side of this cabinet here, like this. Now, not only does this give you some protection if you want to swing the door, like it gives you some protection to hide behind, it also gives you more angles you can fight from. So not just this pixel, you also have a kind of pixel here where you can fight the library double window, and also you can switch sides quite easy, and then you can hold like more passive angles in case they want to jump in. And also it gives you the option to kind of push up and play off it, and then you can push up further and try and catch someone that's jumping into the single window here. It's just a really nice Azami barrier to use. A lot of people will put it on the other side, but I personally like to put it on this side just because, like, when you put it on the other side, you don't have the option of coming up and playing like this on it and pushing up like even further. The next Azami barrier I like to put is to protect you from the K9 window again. This one's a little bit not as needed as the other ones, but it's just nice to have if you have that extra barrier with you. And this will protect you, so like when you're trying to run back to site, it gives you an extra bit of cover, so you can like sprint back to site safer when you're trying to fall off, because this is a kind of position where you're going to want to try and fall off eventually. I'll show you what the attackers see right now. So the attackers, if the barricade's not there, they'll be able to see you this whole way that you're running back, and you're pretty much a freebie for them. Whereas with the barrier there, they have only that little bit of gap where they can actually shoot you from, and then it gives you that option just to have that little extra like protection when you're running back to site. Now finally, for the last two, I like to use these to protect myself from this highway window here, because this is a very common spot for the attackers to push. A lot of people like to sit on this roof bit here, and then they can hold the pixel kind of, or like a off angle all the way down into this like the top fireplace here, as you can see. So to protect myself against this, I like to use this one here. And then with the final one, you kind of have the option to replace one of the ones that gets shot, because obviously you can shoot down Azami barriers. So I like to have the last one there just to replace anyone that gets shot, or like if I'm trying to fall back to site and this one's destroyed, I'll put that back up just before I run back. Or the same goes for this one. If this one gets destroyed, it's kind of hard to play in this position, so I'll put that one back up if it gets destroyed. And then this one, I don't really do it too much. I just make sure that I don't expose myself to the K9 window if that barrier is not there. But yeah, so that's all the Azamis that I like to run for Chalet. I'm going to move on to Oregon now. Alright, so now we're on to Oregon, and I'm going to go through the top floor bomb site, and this is my favorite setup to use on the top floor site of Oregon. So the way that I like to play Azami on kids on Oregon is to hold the site easier and play, kind of be a bit of an anchor player, and just make sure that I've got everything covered that I need to have covered. So to do this, I like to put my first Azami on the back side of this table. You kind of have to put it a little bit lower down like this, and then this gives you an angle to sort of like have a head peak angle over towards the trophy side. But then you can make this even stronger by putting an Azami barrier on top of the door like this, and this will actually give you a bit of a one-way angle to watch like top armory, to watch the trophy door towards like, well, trophy. And this is what it looks like from the enemy side of things. If they're close up to the Azami, they can't see you at all if you're on that barrier. If they step further back, they can see a little bit here. But as you know, like how low that down that is, that's only like crouch height. So if you stand up behind it, they're not going to be able to see your head. If you stand up like here, they're not going to be able to see your head. So it's such a winnable fight for you to do, like for you to have. Like, to be able to see your head on these angles, they have to crouch down and be a really slow and easy target to hit. Now, from this position, you probably realise there's a big glaring open spot where you can get shot from, which is this gen window here, or the games window. So to protect against that, I like to put an Azami on the side of this sort of football table there, like that. And this just gives you a little bit of protection against the anybody on the gen window, and it means you can play against the play against the trophy side a lot easier and safer. When it gets a little bit later in the round as well, you can use like another Azami to block off the door here and then play closer up on this one and try and fight the breach from here and try and fight the breach from these weird Azami angles. Now the last Azami that I want to show you is to kind of help against the attic push, which is a very common push from the attackers. So as you'll know, you'll generally have a rotate hole here into kids, and from this angle you can kind of watch the attic drop, but this angle also gives the attackers the ability to play sort of up here tucked on attic, and they can see all the way deep into kids off like really small angles. So if you want to protect against that, all you need to do is put an Azami on the side of this little electrical box here, and this will not just do that, like it won't just block this angle off, but it'll also give you an angle as a defender to play like this, and you'll be able to have a one-way when they try and drop down trench, which is a very, 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 very easy angle to win. Like this is a very easy fight to win, because the attackers, they can't, if they peek around here like this, they won't be able to see like your upper body or your head. They'll just be able to see your feet if you're playing really close to it. But if you sat back like here, you can literally see it all and they can't see anything. So it's a very, very winnable fight. Now, like I said with the last one, you can either put it on this like one here to block off the door, then play close up there, or you can put it kind of on the head holes that you're going to have here. You can put it at like the bottom just to give you some extra protection. That's another option for you as well. So yeah, that's the whole setup for Oregon. I'm going to move on now to Cafe. Alright, so now we're on to the final site, which is top floor on Cafe, and this is probably one of the strongest places to play Azami, especially in this piano room here. This is because like there's so many open sort of angles and so many open lines that you can block off and create so many great positions to play with Azami in this position here. Generally I like to play around this hatch area here, and what I'll do with my first Azami is I'll put it on the side of this chair like this. Now this just blocks off the angle to Cigar Lounge, and it gives you some positions to fight against it and some positions to play, so now you can play safely kind of around this area and not be worried about Cigar Lounge, as well as giving you some angles to fight against it. So you'll notice that in this position there's kind of a few angles that you're a little bit vulnerable from, these three windows, but using Azami you can block these off and create more like a safer position here. So what I like to do with the second one is to put it on the side here. This is because this wooden thing is actually wall bangable, as you can see there. So having this here gives you a little bit of like bulletproof protection to play in, and then you can kind of play in a position that's safe from all three of the windows at the same time, while also being able to peek Cigar Lounge and play aggressive on that angle. Shush. Anyways, so this gives you that position to play, but I like to also make it further like stronger to play by blocking off the angle from this mini window here by putting one on the side of the cabinet like this. Now this fully blocks off that window so that you can play even safer in this position, and then you can start swinging around the piano breach. If they stop breaching it, you can peek Cigar like Lounge again, and you can kind of just play around this position really safely, being able to fight all the windows and just kind of making it really hard for the attackers to push piano. Also as well, with this one on the minibar here, it gives you a position to like kind of push up and play aggressive on the breach, as long as you're like safe to cross kind of across this angle here. Like as long as the breach hasn't opened yet and you're safe from these windows, if nobody's on these windows, you can kind of push up here and play this angle and fight the breach, and fight the windows as well. If you want to do that, you might want to put an Azami here just in case to go to the piano window behind you, and then come like so that you're safe from the windows behind you, obviously. That's another option as well. And then with the final Azami, or with the final two, if you don't plan on using that one, I like to just kind of replace the ones that get shot, because you'll find that this one generally gets shot a lot and this one might also get shot a lot as well. So with the last two, or the last one, depending on if you use this one or not, you can just replace these two, or you can put them kind of on top of the door like this to create a bit of a like easier angle to fight. Like this is a fully one-way angle where you can shoot their feet when they're running through, and then from this angle they cannot see shit. Like they can't see you at all. They would have to prone to be able to see you, and not even then it's a very hard angle for them to hit. So that's a really nice one way to use, but generally I'll keep these like the last one or two in my pocket just to replace these ones on here that get shot. So yeah, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.